lay down. So I began to close my eyes for like a good, thank you for the hearts, ladies. You know you're sending love to every woman watching. So thank you for sending those hearts. I appreciate it. And so I was laying down, I was closing my eyes, and I rested. I rested for like a good 5 minutes. And then I was like, why don't I just take a nap? Like, let me just take a nap. And by this time, I think it's near like 5 o'clock now. So I've already watched something for an hour. I watched another thing for half an hour. So that's another 1 hour and a half away from work. So I could be doing work right now. And I was like, Vanessa, like, are you really tired? Or you just, not want to go back and do some work? So I had to be real with myself. And then that's when I kind of came up with that topic. Is it self-care or am I being lazy? And I want to talk about this because, hey, ladies that are just not joining, I want to talk about this because I feel like sometimes when we look at self-care, yes, self-care is taking care of yourself, and it has many different assets. It has many different perspectives regarding self-care. Like, self-care could mean going to the gym. Self-care could mean getting a massage. Self-care could mean getting a manicure. Self-care could be reading a book. Self-care could be paying your bills on time. I mean, self-care can be a lot of different things, and it means many different things. It's not just fun and games sometimes, right? And so sometimes it's like, oh, let me go watch this TV show, or, oh, let me go take this nap. I really feel like I need to take care of myself right now, right? But, sometimes we could take that overboard, and it may not be self-care. It may just be like I'm being lazy and I'm actually avoiding something that could actually be a better type of self-care for me right now, right? So the example I gave, hey, ladies just now joining. So the example I gave was, I'm watching TV, I'm trying to get back to work, but I'm still watching TV. So it's like, yeah, I'm watching TV. Do I really feel tired? Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm avoiding getting back to work. Hey, so somebody asks, is it not being lazy a form of rest, self-care? No, I believe that self-care is like, you can rest, yes. If you really need to rest, you can rest. You can be honest with yourself. But sometimes we be like, oh, I'm really tired, and you're really not. Sometimes you're just being lazy and avoiding what it is that you don't want to do. And so I kind of want to talk about this because it's just like the example I gave. It's like, I was actually avoiding getting back to work, right? And some people don't look at getting back to work as a form of self-care, but getting back to work is a form of my personal self-care because I'm personally building my own brand. And so building my brand is a form of my own self-care. And just because I'm building my brand, it doesn't mean it's all fun and games every single day. It doesn't mean it's enjoyable every single day. It doesn't mean creating content is easy every single day. It could be tiresome some days, but I know that that is my ultimate form of self-care because I want to build an empire, So that's my form of self-care. But in that moment, I could have continued to watch TV. I could have continued to lay in bed and take a nap, even though I really wasn't tired. I could have continued to do those things to avoid ultimately getting back to work. But some people do not look at getting back to work as a form of self-care. But when you have goals and dreams and ambitions, getting back to work is a major form of self-care because how else are those goals, those dreams, and those ambitions are going to get done if you're not making any type of action towards them? If you're being lazy and continuing putting off those actions, that is you saying, F you, self-care, I don't care about you. And that's why it is a form of self-care. It is a form of self-care for growth. It is a form of self-care to do work to get to where you want to go to. But many times we don't look at that as self-care because it may not be enjoyable in that moment. And so what I'm saying is that sometimes self-care is not going to be enjoyable and it's not going to be fun and games. Somebody says, Miss Kip said, OMG, this is me, and I was about to go watch the 7th episode of Akami Got Killed, which is an anime. Oh, let me screenshot that. Akami Got Killed. You gotta DM me that anime, which is an anime you must watch. Universe is definitely giving me a telling off. Yes, love, I'm glad you mentioned that. She was about to go watch the 7th episode of this anime. And granted, this anime may be great as hell, may be a good ass anime, right? You really want to watch it. But you're like, how many did you watch today? Don't you have something else to do today that could be a better form of self-care, right? Because sometimes I could really be tired, and I kind of want to talk about the balance, keeping the balance between, understanding that, yes, You may take breaks. Yes, you can take naps. Yes, oh, she said 7 episodes. Yes, you can take breaks. Yes, you can take naps. But you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be real with yourself and understand that there is a balance. Sometimes people are like, oh my God, let me get to bed every day at 11 o'clock and let me never stay up late because, oh my God, I love myself so much. I'm not going to stay up late. I'm going to make sure I give myself the tender loving care that I need. Yes, that works in some aspects. That works in some situations, right? But when you are building an empire, when you have dreams and goals, sometimes you will have late nights. And sometimes you will stay up late as hell to get some shit done because you didn't get to do it done. You didn't get to do it throughout the day. And so my thing is like, for example, let's say it's Monday through Friday, right? Monday through Friday. I go to bed, at 11:30, Monday through Thursday. But I'm like, I'm going to pick Friday and Saturday to stay up late because I want to get my shit done. That does not mean that you do not love yourself. That does not mean that you are not taking care of yourself. You are having a balance. There is always balance. Yes, you are getting to bed at a decent hour throughout majority of the week. But those 2 days, you know when you need to grind and you know when you need to stay up late as hell, right? And it's okay. Some people may say, oh my God, no, that's not self-care. Like, you're not supposed to stay up late. If I really want to get some shit done, my ass is going to stay up late for it. That's me personally. But that's my form of self-care. And I just don't want you to think that staying up late or working hard is not a form of self-care. Hey ladies. Thank you for joining. Miss D says, girl, I'm like this. Empire ain't going to build itself. Exactly. An empire is never going to build itself. You got to put in some hard-ass work to build your empire. And so that's when you have to be real with yourself. When it's like, do I really need this for my self-care right in this moment? Or am I being lazy, right? And so I kind of want to get into how you guys can tell the difference and how you can begin to see the difference on whether it really is self-care or whether you're just being lazy. And let's be real. We are lazy a lot of times. We have 24 hours in a day. 8 hours of those hours many times are sleeping. And so then we're down to about 16, 17 hours. So it's like, what are you going to do during that day that's going to help you with your dreams, your goals, and your ambitions? Because I truly believe one of the ultimate gifts and acts of self-love you can do for yourself is to go after your dreams, is to go after your goals, and to make sure that shit happens. Sometimes we have so many dreams and goals and ambitions, and they're just sitting there. They're not being done. And then we get sad and bitter about why they're not being done. What did you do towards getting your dreams, goals, and ambitions every single day? What did you do? You know what I'm trying to say? Miss D says, I stay up till 2 every Thursday night and Friday to deep clean, so I don't have to do it on Saturday when I want to build, not clean the house. I like that, love. Thank you, Miss Riri. Thank you, Miss Kit. Thank you. And so I kind of want to get into how you can actually tell the difference for yourself. And so the number one way to start beginning to tell the difference between is it self-care or am I being lazy is, number one, I want you to ask yourself questions. In that moment, when you're like, is this really self-care or am I being lazy? The first thing to do is to ask yourself questions. For example, in the example that I gave about me watching an anime and then about me deciding to go take a nap or getting back to work, I had to ask myself questions. I asked myself, am I really tired? Do I really feel like I need this? So these were the questions that I asked myself before I actually was like, I'm about to go take a nap. I really wasn't tired. But that's getting into number 2. So number 1, ask yourself questions. Be honest. Number 2, be honest with yourself. You are asking yourself questions to get an honest response. Do not lie to yourself. Though I will tell you, you can lie to everybody else in the world, although that is not good, but you never want to lie to yourself. You always want to be honest with yourself, even if you do not like the truth. So remember that. Be honest with yourself, even when you do not like the truth. So number 2, be honest with yourself. So let me say, back to the example, I asked myself, am I really tired? Or do I just want to take a nap? Am I really avoiding work, right? And so I really just was avoiding work. I didn't want to get back to work. I was not tired. When I was not in that bed, I was not tired. Because I sat my butt in the bed and I was sitting in my bed for about 30 minutes, I was like, let me go take a nap. but that was not because I was tired. And so that's why I had to be honest with myself. I'm like, Vanessa, you're not really tired. You're just saying this because you're in the bed and it's convenient because you don't want to get back to work. So that brings me to number 3. After you have 1, ask yourself questions, and number 2, have been honest with yourself. Now you're having a mental conversation with yourself. It's time for number 3. Number 3 is to get into action and do what you need to do that you were avoiding. For example, I was avoiding getting back to work. So after I asked myself my questions and after I was honest with myself, I took my ass up and I went back to my desk and I got back to work. Why? Because I know the ultimate form of self-care for me is to continue working on my dreams and my goals. And so it is still self-care, but you just have to know the difference. Self-care is in different forms and it happens in different actions. But the number one thing after that is going into action. After I was honest with myself and after you are honest with yourself, you still have a choice. Just because you asked yourself those questions and just because you were honest with yourself, if you were in my position, your ass could have stayed in bed too, right? You could have stayed in bed, but you can actually be honest with yourself and say, hey, now you can take action and actually do what you know you need to do in your self-care. Hey, Amina, this replay is going to be in the Facebook group. So if you missed it, it is going to be in the Facebook group and you can rewatch it, love, because you are a selfish babe. So thank you for tuning in. And so I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about the difference between self-care, yes, or are you being lazy? And to be real about it, when you are on your self-love journey, when you are really knowing yourself, you have to know yourself and you have to begin learning yourself. In order to begin learning yourself, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to ask yourself questions and you have to have that internal conversation. Yes, Alicia the writer, she said you definitely have to check yourself. True to that. Thank you, Miss Juicy Girl. Yes, Amina, you're welcome. And so my thing is like, when we're talking about being on a self-love journey, when we're talking about honestly and truly loving ourselves, we have to be real with ourselves. It is not sugar-coated candy. It is not honey all the time. And it is not always fun and games. Miss D said, my first thought is to be 2% better than I was the day before by the end of the year. I'm 600+%. I like that. Hey, Kennedy Simone, I'm glad that you tuned in, love. So I'm just saying, y'all need to be real with yourselves. I want you ladies to go out into the world and be prosperous, selfish babes. I want you to be selfishly loving yourself and authentically loving yourself. And when you are being authentic, you are being honest and you are being very true to yourself. And so sometimes we have to ask ourselves those hard questions. Is this really a form of self-care that is needed for me right now, or am I being lazy? And so now I'm going to go back because I don't want to negate actual self-care. If you do feel burnt out, if you honestly feel tired, if you honestly feel like you need to stay in bed and take that 3-hour nap, then by all means, be in bed and take that 3-hour nap. Why? Because you are honest with yourself. If you're really feeling down during that day and you don't feel like doing work because you honestly feel down, then go by all means, take care of yourself in that action, in that form. But that was after you were real with yourself. So let's say the situation was turned around and I actually was not feeling the day and I actually wasn't feeling good that day. In that situation, I was still asking myself, hey, Vanessa, do you really need this form of self-care right now, or am I being lazy because I don't want to get back to work? And if the honest answer to my question was, I really just don't feel like getting back to work, I think I need this self-care because I'm not feeling too good today. If that is my answer, then my ass would go and take that 3-hour nap that I really wanted to take. Why? Because I was being honest with myself and letting myself know what I needed in that moment. But many times it could be laziness, and I'm not trying to put you out there, girl, but it's like watching Netflix all day long. It's like having a binge day of Netflix all weekend. Let's say you work Monday through Friday, and on the weekends all you do is watch episodes of Netflix the whole weekend, but you still have goals written down that you have not gotten into. That's not good. There's no balance there. I would suggest maybe on Saturday, you take that one Saturday out the whole month because you don't do it every weekend. You binge watch Netflix that one Saturday, and then on Sunday, you get to doing your goals and you, don't watch Netflix all day long. We do not need to be watching Netflix all day long every single weekend. Maybe once a month when it's needed, yeah. But these long ass marathons of Netflix over and over and over again is not necessary. So Alicia the writer said, expose me. That is so funny. Miss Kit says, I need to fix up. Beauty by AM says, what are some ways to truly find yourself? This may be a silly question, but I feel like I am stuck. So, Miss Beauty by AM, I don't think that's a silly question. My answer would be to take a mirror, to look yourself in the mirror, and to ask yourself what it is that you need right now in this moment. I know that sounds interesting, but this is what I talk about in my Facebook group. I want you to take a mirror, to look yourself in the mirror, ask yourself what it is that I need in this moment for myself, and see what answer comes to you. That is one way to begin finding your true self. Another way is meditation. I can go on and on. Maybe I'll write a blog article about it, but I can go on more about that. Maybe I'll do more things about that. Maybe I'll write an ebook about it. Who knows? But thank you for asking. I would definitely suggest to meditate, and I would definitely suggest to get a mirror and to ask yourself what it is that you need. Wait in silence for about 2 to 3 minutes and see what answer comes to you, and then write that down. And